Hey guys, it's Kea again and I'm back again with another video. I am super excited to be back on YouTube and back again with another Kea Talks. This has been really highly requested in my DMs, so I am super excited to be back. And I even forgot how I do this thing. First of all, if you are new to the channel, my name is Kea, and if you are returning, always supporting, always here, always coming back when I come back to YouTube, subscriber, thank you so much for sticking by me, sticking beside me. I really appreciate it. So let's get right into this video. Okay, so I decided that I'm going to start off this video with just a bit of a life update since the last time I was on YouTube. I'm going to try my level best not to talk with my hands because I be ODing, just overdoing it with my hands, but I can't help it. That's just how I express myself, but I'm going to try to do better. So basically, the reason why I took a break off of YouTube, well, from YouTube, took a break from YouTube, was because I just needed time to reflect, because I was definitely struggling with my mental health from the beginning of the year, to be quite honest, but it just got worse around like March, April. Then I was really down bad, like down horrendous. I just couldn't get a grip, and that was something that was like super weird for me, because I have never really struggled with my mental health like ever. For the most part, I've been like just fine. I do have my moments of just being sad and depressed or whatever, but like it's just a fleeting thing. It doesn't really last. So when it was lasting, when the tough times were lasting, it was a little uncomfortable. So I just really needed that time to just regroup and, you know, just figure things out. More than anything, also just allow myself to go through that, allow myself to, you know, go through me having a lot of anxiety, feeling a little depressed sometimes, having a lot of self-doubt, just not feeling like myself, and also trying to figure out why I feel that way, and, you know, just trying to be and do better. So then I took it upon myself to go to therapy. I went to therapy for a good 2 months. But the thing about therapy, let's talk about therapy. The thing about therapy is that I love therapy, but also you're not prepared for how much you realize and learn about yourself in a short space of time. So it can be overwhelming. I feel like I always see how people encourage people to go to therapy, like, yeah, go to therapy, but we don't really talk about how hectic therapy can be. Like within the first 3 sessions, I was already like, whoa, this is a lot. But like, I'm also grateful that I am coming to terms with so many things. I'm being open to someone who knows nothing about me, who doesn't know who I am, and it's just like taking in everything that I'm saying from a neutral perspective. They're not emotional about it like my friends and family would be, or something like that. And just me being completely open with myself. I have to be completely open and honest with myself, so I can be open and honest with my therapist, so that, you know, I can figure out a lot about myself, you know, because sometimes we are just like we look at things from our own judgment and we don't really get it, because you're obviously super emotional about the things that happen to you. You then speak to someone who is just super neutral, is hearing you out, understanding what you're saying, and then making you understand it from a different perspective. Then it's a lot. But I'm truly grateful that I actually went to therapy, but I did stop because it was a lot. Like, I was realizing too much too quick. I needed time to just take it all in, you know. So yeah, and then I just started feeling much better, and I'm actually really glad that I took the time to actually put myself in a position where I had to be completely honest, vulnerable, and not feel bad about it, and not feel like I'm putting too much on like someone or whatever. Because I know for a fact sometimes I just feel like I can't even take on or give like really great sound advice to my friends when they are, you know, going through something, because I also have my own things that I'm dealing with. So for the most part, I keep a lot of things to myself, because I just don't want to feel like a burden to other people. So having a therapist, like, that's their job. They just take it all in, and like they can leave it at the door when they knock off work, then that's good. But like with your friends and family, everyone will just be like a little bit more, you know, they take it on. So I also know I'm that kind of person. So yeah, and also getting to a point where I have realized that in certain moments I do wish that I didn't give people that advice, even on my YouTube channel. Genuine, I do look at my old videos, I'm like, I really wish I didn't give people that advice, but it seemed right to me then, and I can't, like, you know, blame myself for how I was thinking at that point, because that's where I was in life. But where I am in life right now, I'm just like, that was not good advice, but it wasn't too bad either, but like it was a little unrealistic. So yeah, so it's been tough, but I'm really glad that finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I just feel so much lighter. I feel really good right now in my life. I feel good. I feel like I'm really figuring out who Kea is, and I shouldn't be so hard on myself. So yeah, that's a bit of my life update. I am still a varsity student. I'm in my final semester, definitely graduating next year. I only have one module right now, so that's lovely because I have a lot of free time. And that's basically it. That's, like, you know, the things that I talk about on my channel, just like me, school, like what I'm doing. I'm getting back into content creation, which is like, you know, YouTube, Instagram. I wasn't posting on Instagram when I was going through my phase. I don't even know what to call it. Yeah, when I was going through that phase, I wasn't posting much on Instagram. I wasn't taking up campaigns, and by the grace of God, the minute I decided that I don't want to be in this sad, like, dry spell anymore, and I started making an effort to getting back into content creation and all of that, campaigns are rolling in, and all praise to the Most High, because honestly, I wouldn't be getting that if it wasn't for him. So shout out to God, shout out to God. We appreciate that. A girl is working again. She is focused. She ready to be in her bag. Like, so that's my mindset right now. So yeah. So what is this whole video actually about besides the life update? I have decided to just tell you guys what self-love looks like to me in 2021, or rather towards the end of 2021, because what self-love was to me in the beginning of this year compared to what it is right now, it's a little different. But I'm not mad about it. It's growth. It's growth. I see things differently. I'm changing my mind based on new information. That's something we need to allow ourselves to do. When we gain new information, allow yourself to change your mind. Don't stick to the same old BS that you thought was right now that you've been exposed to different perspectives, new information. So that's where I'm at, and different versions of you. Like as you evolve, we like step into different versions of ourselves. So allow yourself to like change your mind about certain things. What you thought was right then maybe doesn't work for you right now, and that is okay. So I want to tell you guys about what self-love looks like to me right now. So let's get into it. I'm going to be glancing at my phone like a couple of times because I made a few notes, because like that's just how I be. Like, you get me? So let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, what I wrote here is that what self-love looks like to me is surrendering. Surrendering to the process, surrendering to what God has in store for me, because sometimes we literally limit ourselves and we think this is how far we can go, but God can even take us like further. When we face challenges, then we don't like see it as though like, you know, there's a greater possibility to the situation, like it could end up being so much better. We're literally thinking like, this is not going in the way that I wanted it to go, so it's completely wrong. But also surrendering to the fact that sometimes when something is not going in the way that you would want it, it's actually like going to turn out even better, because we don't even know the plans that God has for us. And for the most part, we limit ourselves because, man, the God we serve, if you serve, like if you are a Christian, all of that, but like whoever like you're into, I don't know how to say this, but you get me. You get me. So like sometimes you just need to surrender to the process and trust that everything is working in your favor. Just because things aren't working out in the way that you want them to doesn't mean they're not working in your favor. Just always look at the bigger picture and be like, I'm facing this challenge right now, but that doesn't mean that like now what I had in mind is like super bad, it's not gonna work out. Maybe you're facing that challenge so that you are, you know, exposed to even better and bigger possibilities, opportunities, you get me? So that's what self-love looks like to me right now. Surrendering just allowing things to be, just like learning as I go, you know? So that's the first point I made. What self-love looks like to me is honoring my feelings, and honoring my feelings through and through. Constantly reminding myself that my feelings are valid, and how people react to my feelings should never put me in a position where I start to invalidate my feelings, because I have definitely realized that I'm a very expressive person. If I don't like something, I'm gonna let you know, most of the time, like on the spot. Or I probably just take like a day to just reflect. But if it's like I'm a very like expressive person, like I'm gonna let you know how I feel, but honoring my feelings through and through, because I found myself also just going through phases of not really wanting to say how I feel because I'm afraid of how people will react to me like expressing my feelings. But I'm at the point right now where I feel like my relief after, like when I express my feelings, is more important than their reaction, because my feelings are valid and they need to be heard, and they should be heard. Well, if it's necessary, you know what I mean? Like if I care enough. But most of these days I find myself struggling to care. So but you get me. You get me. The sassy side of me always just jumps out, and I just have to, but like I'm so feisty, like I can't lie. I am so like yeah. But anyway, what self-love also is to me is knowing and recognizing the fact that I'm a giver, but also knowing when to not give and when to not give too much, and also when to just give the bare minimum. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I've also recognized that I am an empath. So when you're an empath, you just want to give, and you just want to be there for people. You want to help, you want to do this, you want to do that. But then you come across people who are so used to taking that they don't give back, you know? And then you end up like you start pouring from an empty cup, because all you've ever done is just give to people. And I found myself at that point, and I think that's also what led to a lot of my anxiety and like sad phases. Just because I was just like, man, I'm giving so much to these relationships, these friendships, but I'm not really getting much back. Like for the most part, I'm getting the bare minimum. I am getting like just enough to keep me around, when I'm going above and beyond to make sure that people feel appreciated, seen, loved by me, and so forth. But it's just like, it's just you know. So I have learned that I'm just willing to give as much as people are willing to give me. Like I have definitely just realized also that it's time to be selfish, because I am very much aware of the fact that everything I require I can reciprocate. Everything that a person can give to me, or I expect them to give to me, whether it's loyalty, love, whatever it could be, I know that the only reason that I would want that is because I know that I can give that to that person too. So just learning when to stop giving or to not give at all, because it depends on the situation, the nature of the relationship, and so forth, and so on. I mean, besides knowing when to give and not give, you also need to know who's worthy of that. And the only people who are worthy of that are the ones who are reciprocating that energy too. And that's on period. Okay, that's it. And another thing that I've realized is that, and this is something I mentioned earlier, is that self-love for me looks different in every single phase in my life. And what I was saying on my YouTube channel, like I always think of my first video, 19 lessons I learned. Not even my first video, it's probably like one of the first few videos I posted, 19 lessons I learned before turning 19. And I'm 22 now, so like I always think of that, and I'm just like, what I was saying then, yes, there are certain things that I still definitely like, I stand by 1000%, but there are some things I'm just like, not so much, okay? And that is okay. And also just recognizing the fact that my self-love will look different in every single journey, in every single phase of my life, because the journey, just like as I evolve, the journey gets like even tougher, and I kind of have to be just a little bit kinder to myself and kinder to the people around me, because obviously I feel like self-love is like the foundation for everything. So I was very like, you know, like hectic on like, this is how I want to be treated, this is who I am, I love myself like this, and I set those boundaries to the point where I was just a little too stern, you know, like just a little too hectic when it comes to that, and a little unrealistic. And it takes a lot for you to just sit back and actually call yourself out, like waiting at a meeting and be like, girl, this I get sure. Okay guys, I'm so sorry, my camera cut, I don't know why, so I just had to start over and I lost my train of thought. Now I'm just gonna move on to the next one. I hope I said enough on the last thing, but genuine. The other thing that I noted here is that self-love for me right now looks like choosing myself even when I am not chosen. And what I am saying about choosing myself even though I am not chosen, this is basically, for me personally, it's based on my friendships and like romantic relationships. It's just like, for me, that's where I think I could experience maybe a little bit of insecurity when it comes to not being chosen. And that's something for me that was so out of body. I was like, girl, why are you like so like moved by the fact that people aren't choosing you? Like, what happened to your self-worth? And it's not that it wasn't there. It's not that it wasn't there, but when your self-doubt and everything starts to kick in, then you just, you know, you want to be chosen. And when you don't feel chosen, like, it definitely affects you and how you feel about yourself. And that was such a low for me. Don't want to get emotional. Don't want to get emotional. And that was like such a low for me, because it's just like, I have never gone to a point of having self-doubt, questioning how worthy I am, just because I don't feel seen, appreciated in friendships and romantic relationships and so forth. It was just such an uncomfortable feeling, but like, then going through that and just realizing that I'm still worthy, I'm still deserving of great things, all the love and, you know, loyalty in the world. I definitely deserve that, and nobody should ever make me feel like I don't, just because of their actions or how they react to me and how much love I'm willing to give and so forth. So yeah, it's just always important to like know that you're worthy and choose yourself. Like, you're the most consistent thing in your life. Choose yourself. People come and go, so as long as you have yourself, that's all that matters. Okay, that's all that matters, and nothing can shake you for the most part. I can't say nothing. A lot of things can't shake you then, but you know, yeah, that's what I think. Another thing that has made me like feel like, okay, I'm looking at self-love differently, is because in the past I always used to feel like, for me, I always have to be strong. When I am strong and I'm not being vulnerable, I can just take on everything and whatever. I don't have moments of weakness, or not even weakness, just moments of not being the Kea who has her head on straight, who's trying to get things done, who's just focused or whatever. I'm not in that space. Then I would feel like I don't love myself. But I have also just realized that, like, for me, self-love now is allowing myself to go through it, allowing myself to be down, allowing myself to be sad, allowing myself to cry, allowing myself to cry. I never used to cry in the past. Like, I'd just be like, anyway, distract myself. Like, I'm upset about something, I just distract myself and carry on. But those things catch up to you once you don't deal with something as it's happening, and you just want to keep working, keep creating the content, just keep looking like you have it all together on social media and everything is fine. Then like, it's gonna catch up to you. And I think that's what happened with me. And then just allowing myself to cry when I need to cry. Guys, let me tell you something. These days, one thing about me, I am going to color. If I'm upset about something, I'm gonna cry, because like, I'm upset. And that's how I feel, okay? And I've just realized that there's so much power in vulnerability, and a lot of people want to shame you for being so open and honest about how you feel. Every single day you have to come on social media and act like everything is perfectly fine. I'm not saying like cry on social media, like go on live and cry. No, I'm not saying that. But like, if you're not grand, like, you don't have to put up a show for anybody. You don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe anybody perfection. What you owe yourself is like your real emotions. You owe yourself that vulnerability, like, to not be okay, to go through it, to be sad, you owe yourself that. Trust me, because if you don't give yourself that, you're just constantly going, it's gonna catch up to you. And when it does, yay, ask me. It's bad, okay? It is not cute. You don't want it, okay? So I just cry, color, okay? And I've also just decided to be more intentional about my solitude. I am very, I don't know what the right word is, but I'm very like hectic about removing myself from situations that don't serve me, and just being intentional about my solitude in the sense that knowing that I'm gonna be fine. Like, I'm gonna be fine. I don't have to stick around where I don't feel seen, where I don't feel appreciated. But also, and even speaking on that, if I decide, okay, I don't, at this point in my life, and I'm with this person, or I'm with this friend, and I don't feel seen and I don't feel appreciated by them, and I remove myself, later on decide to be okay and go back to that, that is also fine. Like, it's not like I am not honoring myself, because if I feel like there's a change and the person is, you know, just trying to be better for me, for the connection, whatever the situation may be, romantic relationship or just a friendship, then that is also okay. It's that I shouldn't be too hard on myself, especially when it comes to like my solitude, because at the end of the day, we need people. Like, we need each other. And me trying to convince myself that yes, I'm gonna be okay on my own, but I still need people. Like, I still need relationships, I still need connections, I still need to have people around me. It makes no sense for me to try and navigate this world like by myself. I definitely need friends. I definitely need like not need, but it's nice to have like a partner, like things like that, you know what I mean? I don't mean needing no nigga. I don't need a nigga. A nigga needs me. Okay? And that's it. That's not even that funny. I just think I'm funny. Anyway, so you get me, you get my drift, you get what I'm saying, but like, I'm still very intentional about my solitude. I definitely love being by myself in my apartment. Like, right now I am at my happiest because Kiwan, and like, I'm just being me, and you know, I'm having moments like this where I'm even realizing more like about myself as I'm speaking to this camera. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, I didn't think about it like that when I wrote it down, but now that I've said it, you know, it's just moments like that, and just being by myself, doing things in the house, like making my space more comfortable for me to just be me. And I just love my solitude, and just being intentional, and also just keeping people around who understand that when I want to be alone, it's not personal. It's not about you, it's about me, as it should be. Like, as it should be. There are certain things that will be about me, and it shouldn't affect you in any kind of way, because if Kea just wants to be alone, Kea just wants to be alone, and it has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? And I just realized that I was spending a lot of time just doing things that weren't serving me. Like it's okay to like go to a restaurant. Like, that's my favorite thing to do, by the way. Just going to a restaurant, like just having a good meal, having a cute drink, vibes. I love that. But like, I don't have to do that every week, because in Janako, and I have things to do. I'm graduating next year. I need to come up with a plan. Like, every single day, like, you know what I mean? I can't do that. So it's also just like surrounding yourself with like-minded people who also get that. And it's not even like a personal thing when you're just like, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not trying to be there. And it's not about you, it's about me. At this point, it's crunch time for me. Not really crunch time, because we always have time, but like, I'm just putting upon myself that, yo, just like, figure it out, like, you know? So yeah, on to the next one. Self-love to me right now also looks like implementing like new self-care methods that make sense to me right now, that probably weren't like the same like back then. But right now, for me, my self-care has a lot to do with just me being by myself, going back to the gym, just doing all the things that I always wanted to do. Like, I want to take up like painting on Sundays. I can't even, like, I'm not artistic in any kind of way. Like, I can't draw to save my life. Like, I'm pretty sure I can't even freaking draw a stick man. Like, no, that's an exaggeration. I can draw a stick man, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not even the greatest stick man ever. But I want to take up like painting on Sundays, like just painting random things on canvases, just because, like, yeah, you know, just chilling, listening to music. My self-care also like has a lot to do with maintenance. I like taking care of myself, getting a wax, getting my nails done, getting my lashes done, getting my toes done, all of that stuff. Like massages, I want to do like massages every month. Like small things like that that just make me feel like, you know what, I'm taking care of me and it should make sense to me. Like getting back into reading and stuff like that, that's self-care to me. I really want to get this book. It's called, the title of the book is What Happened to You, and it's about like trauma and stuff like that, and it's highly recommended. So I really want to, like, you know, I really want to like read it. So that's one of, like, it's just like just being intentional about like implementing new self-care methods that make sense to my life right now. You know, that might have been a little crazy in the past, but now it makes sense. And then just to wrap up this video, I hope there wasn't too much like rambling, because I haven't done this in a while. I have also just like realized, just one last thought, I have realized that the quickest way to learn who you are is to see who you're not. So just like making mistakes, or not even, I don't like to even like use the word like mistakes, but just going through the process, like thinking you're not supposed to, but doing things a specific way, seeing that it doesn't work, and you know, then realizing maybe that's not who I am, like living like this is not for me, doing this, going here is not for me. Rather, I think I would rather like to be this person. And for me, every single day, and I know I've said this in my videos a couple of times, I'm always thinking I want to envision the woman that I want to be. So it's very important for me to move like her, because that's the only way I'm going to manifest that and become that person. Because if I don't do those things now, like how am I actually even gonna get to that point? If I'm not moving like the woman I want to be, like will I even ever get to that point? Because at that point I'm not even working towards it. It's just a little dream, like it's just there in the back of my mind, but I'm not actively doing the right things to make sure that I actually end up like that person that I have in my mind, like that I've envisioned in my mind. Like it's just a dream, and you know, dreams, nothing will work unless you do. So if I have something in my head and I want it to be that way, I have to work towards it. And that also just takes a lot of like unlearning and relearning and so forth. So just to figure out who you are, no, the quickest way to figure out who you are is to figure out who you're not, you know, because we just get lost in the sauce sometimes, and that's okay. You just take that L, if it is an L to you, but just take that L and decide to do better. So that's the end of my little Kea talks. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to just comment in the comment section what you guys would like to hear me speak on in the next couple of videos, because I definitely wanted to be topics that you guys can relate to as well. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll definitely see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.